Welcome to the Brookhaven Circle, a podcast to celebrate and explore the business community of Brookhaven Circle in Memphis, Tennessee. While Brookhaven Circle is known for its many restaurants, you'll find a lot more than good eating on the Circle, where many service and retail entrepreneurs have set up shop. Don't forget to subscribe to the Brookhaven Circle on whatever platform you listen or watch your podcast on. Just search the Brookhaven Circle and hit that subscribe button. The Brookhaven Circle is sponsored by V2 Media. I'm Mark Thompson. Now let's meet the Brookhaven Circle business community. Welcome to the Brookhaven Circle. This is a podcast about the business community on Brookhaven Circle here in Memphis, Tennessee. We're going to meet, engage, celebrate, explore the many entrepreneurs who make up the Brookhaven Circle community. Today, we're here with Mike Sadler, the owner of Hook Point Brewing Company and the Hook Point Ready Room. Mike, thanks for being with us today. Appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
Taking time.
Yeah, happy to be here.
So tell me a little bit about, we'll get into the beer, the good stuff, but
That's
tell me
right.
a little bit about you first. How did you get here and what's your background?
Yeah, so I got to Memphis through FedEx. I'm a pilot with FedEx. Came here in 93, got hired in 93. Prior to that, I was in the Navy, flew F-18s in the Navy, and that's kind of the background for the business here that we have on in Brookhaven Circle. So I was a F-18 pilot and ended up getting hired by FedEx, thankfully, in 1993. And soon, 2014, my wife and I, Cindy and I, had an idea about starting a lifestyle brand. And it was called Flat Hat. Which is one of our beers here, one of the beers.
I had one at lunch.
Did you? How was it?
It was good.
Good.
It was good and cold.
That's right. It's a tasty beer. But in the Navy, the term flat hat or flat hatting was originally described as unauthorized low altitude flying. So it was stunts and flybys. And if you're familiar with the Tower flyby and Top Gun, it was that kind of thing.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So we all did it for the most part. It was frowned upon by the brass, but it was, for us, it was about pushing yourself, testing your limits, and just seeing how good you were, and how low you can go, how fast you can go.
And if you could get away with it.
That's right. Sometimes, yeah. It was a little about rebelliousness for sure. So we thought that was a good idea for an active, adventurous lifestyle brand. So we created that. The beer purely came about by happenstance. We were looking for a product, and we just happened to meet a consultant who helped people start breweries. And so we thought, well, that's pretty good. I drink a lot of beer, so it works for me. So that's how the beer came around. The brewery we started a few years later, we actually had the beer contract brewed, what they call it in Atlanta, and shipped it over here and put it into the market. And then in 2019, we decided to start the brewery. We had some trademark conflict with the name Flat Hat, so we used the name Hook Point Brewing Company. And the Hook Point is the end of the tail hook that's on the aircraft that land on the carriers. That's the part that actually grabs the arresting wire and stops the airplane on the flight deck. So it's kind of the last chain and link in the chain to get a successful mission. So it's when you feel it wire grab by the hook point, it's kind of mission's over, sort of, and relax, time to go get a beer. Yeah. So that's where that came from.
Good deal. Well, I looked up because I wondered about the Ready Room. I thought, and so I looked that up. Tell me about the Ready Room. So the
Ready Room is the place on the aircraft carrier where the pilots brief and debrief and just kind of relax, and when they're not on a mission or not when there's some downtime. We'll watch movies in there and just kind of hang out and talk and that kind of thing. So that's the idea behind the Ready Room here on Brookhaven Circle, is just a place to come relax and drink some beer. And so it's a little different. You can't drink beer on the aircraft carrier, but you can certainly do it here.
Right. But, I've noticed, and I see the brewery is right off the square there in Collierville.
Right. So
how much space have you got out there?
Yeah, so the brewery itself is 16,000 square feet. It's 3 Quonset huts basically put together. So it looks like a hangar, which was kind of the reason that we chose that place to begin with. It's a pretty large brewery. We have a 10-barrel brew house, and Right now, we have the capability of brewing about 100 barrels a month with the personnel that we have and the cellaring equipment that we have.
Yeah.
So.
And where's your primary distribution for that?
Yeah, so that's an interesting story. So we originally worked with a distributor here in Memphis, and we distributed kind of all over the western part of Tennessee. We took a year or so ago, the Tennessee laws changed where we were allowed to self-distribute all over the state. So we decided to give that a shot, and so we took the distribution part of it back ourselves. With the new beer that we're going to launch here real soon, we think that we're not really going to be able to handle that ourselves. So we're in discussions with a couple of distributors around Mississippi, here in Memphis, and up in Nashville. So we're probably going to go back to a distributor here in the next few weeks and start going at it that route again.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
It is a good thing. Yeah, it's when you at least think that your distribution is too large for you to handle yourself, it's probably a good.
If you need more folks to help you,
right.
that's a good thing.
We're undermanned for sure.
Right. So talk to me a little bit about some of your
all right.
your motivation behind some of your different brews.
Yeah. So obviously they're all meant to be aviation or naval aviation related for the most part. Not all of them are, but that's kind of the intent for most of them. Flat Hat, obviously, we already talked about that one. This next beer here is called Afterburner Irish Red. Afterburner, obviously related to aircraft. It's really delicious beer. Inky Barley, the one here it's a stout. It's a Scottish stout, so kind of a blend of a Irish stout and a Scottish ale. And Inky Barley is actually a bombing range in California that most of us went to a bunch to practice dropping bombs. So that's where the name for that came from. And then Catshot Kolsch is our other beer here, and that's obviously Catshot is from launching off the front of the carrier is it's a catapult shot. So
gotcha.
It's shortened to Catshot. And then this one on the end here, we do a special about once a quarter. We do what we call an X series, an experimental series, and they're all barrel-aged beers, which means they've been in a rum or whiskey or bourbon barrels where we age them. And our brewers or employees all come up with the basic style of what beer they would like to have, and so we create it and put it in a X series, and then we launch them about once a quarter.
Well, I was sharing with you before, and I'll tell you out there, if you haven't tried a bourbon barrel beer, give it a shot. It's got a little zing to it.
No pun intended, right? A little shot.
Exactly. No pun intended. It's good stuff.
It is.
And we have enjoyed a couple of beverages today at lunch.
Good.
Yes, I've recovered enough to speak, but so go ahead.
No, I was just going to say our latest project is earlier this year we decided that we wanted to launch beers on specific points in the year that were important to us, like the 4th of July and Memorial Day and the Navy's birthday. We had a beer that we intended to launch on the 4th of July called Patriot Pilsner. And as it got closer, we were just doing some research and looking, and our Vice President, Tessie Harris, had done some looking around and discovered that Old Glory, which you associate with the American flag, had some ties to Tennessee. And there's a story that I think most people probably don't know is that the flag, there was an original flag called Old Glory. And it was a merchant seaman, a captain, who had gotten his first ship, and his mother and some friends knitted a flag together, and it had 24 stars. It had a ship's anchor on it to honor his merchant career. And when he raised that flag over his ship the first time, he reportedly said, "My ship, my country, my flag, Old Glory." And he was the first one to dub our flag Old Glory. So he had his ship merchant seaman career, traveled around the world doing that. When he retired, he actually retired in Nashville. And he flew that flag outside of his house every day. And this was in the originally in the early 1820s, and then in the mid 1800s is when he retired to Nashville. When the Civil War broke out, there was some threats against the flag and him, so he took the flag down and hid it away for safekeeping. And when the Union Army took control of the city, he took it to the commanding general, and they flew it over the State House. So the flag currently is in the Smithsonian, and so there's a good record about stories about it. You can look it up. But so we talked about that, and we thought, that's perfect. It's got a good tie to Tennessee. It is what it is. It's the American flag, and America needs a new beer. So we're gonna launch Old Glory. So it's we
need some Old Glory.
Absolutely, we sure do. And this is I don't know if you can see this very well, but that is an image of what the can is supposed to look like. We're still waiting on the final digital images, and they're supposed to come today. I was hoping they would be ready by this podcast, but that's what the image of the can is going to look like. And it really is, when we first started talking about the beer and the can and the name, we talked about our business and what we meant, and what we wanted to project as a small business. And our company, I firmly believe that small businesses are the backbone of the community that you're in, right? And
that's why we're here.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about, the community and Brookhaven Circle. So we wanted to make sure that our business represented something that was positive and that would contribute to the community. We just joined the Tennessee chapter of Folds of Honor about a month ago. So that's us giving back to our veterans and first responders families. We provide some help to other veteran services in the community. And we just felt it was important that we expressed ourselves as we felt. As a veteran-owned company, we wanted to give back to the community. And part of this, it is a beer with a message for us. It's, you have to be living under a rock not to know all the strife and conflict and stuff that's going on in the country right now. But the bottom line is, Old Glory represents our flag, and the flag represents us. It's Americans. It's me and you and you guys. It's America. So our message is one of unity. It's not a political statement. It's the fact that I've been around the world more than a few times, literally, and I can tell you that this is the best country on earth. We provide more opportunities to more people more often than any place else. And we just need to get over this division and stuff that's in this country. And so we really want to present this message of unity. And I know it's a bold statement for the smallest brewery in Memphis to say that we're going to make this national statement. But if we can be that pebble that's dropped in the water and creates the ripples that affect places around us, the rest of the county, the rest of the state, then we need to try and make that statement.
I'm all for every little message of unity that's out there, by gosh, and I'm voting for you.
Well, I'm not running for anything, let me tell you. But I will tell you this. So we have our brewer that brewed this beer, Sarah Drake. She is a liberal. Happy to have her in I'm certainly a conservative. I'm a veteran. I've been a conservative all my life, but we all get along. We have people from both sides of that aisle that work for us, and we all are friends, and we enjoy working with each other. And that's the message that I think we'd like to present, is that we're all Americans. We all just need to get along.
Yeah.
So
you can have a civil discourse with anyone.
Absolutely.
And still be on the same side or on different sides. Well, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. But like I said, it's a beer with a message, and we're going to present it. So
love it. Okay. So on your website, just to shift a little bit to the food. So it says come for the beer, stay for the food.
Right.
Talk to me a little bit about your menu, because we tested some things, and we'll be back.
Good. Yeah. So Tessie Harris, our vice president, she came to me because originally we were just going to open a tap room here in Brookhaven, just have the beer. She came to me middle of last year, and said, "Hey, I'd be happy to run you," because she's been involved in food service and running restaurants a lot of her life. So she said, "I'd be happy to come and run it for you." So we took her up on it. There's no sense wasting the kitchen in the space, right? Yeah. So she is a phenomenal chef. Her son Justin is our head chef, and he's an excellent chef and cook. And so they came up with the recipes. Justin does all the majority of the cooking. Tessie has actually now become our vice president for Hook Point Brewing. She does more work than I do. She's up. If there were 8 days in the week, she'd be up 30 hours every day doing all the work. So she's amazing how much energy she has to do all this stuff. But we try to make a unique menu. It's a kind of a lot of it's a take on soul food or Southern food, but we wanted a bar menu that was a little upscale. We wanted to make sure you could still get the bar snacks that you like, but it was something a little unique and something different. And then we're continuing to work on the menu to make sure that we upgrade it as much as we can as going forward. We have to, of course, since we've only been open since January, so we're still kind of testing things out and deciding what really we can do the best and what people like the best.
What hits.
So, yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'll tell you what hit today. I don't know what you're putting on your fries. Man, they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I don't know
seasoning,
Right.
It's crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside.
Yeah.
And Joey'd never had a cheese curd today. Joey, what do you think? Joey's getting a thumbs up here.
There's thumbs up. I like
Yeah, we got a couple things to share and really enjoyed it.
Right.
Joey tried to get a small of your afterburners. I said, no, we're not getting small.
Got to get large.
We're getting enough of that. We can share some of that.
That's right. No, it's we're a lot of things we're still working on. It took us a lot longer to get it open than we had intended. We were hoping to be open last summer. We didn't open until January. So when we were finally able to open, we just went ahead and opened because we just, you got to get open.
Get the doors open.
So exactly. So we still have a lot of the interior design things to do. In some ways, I think it's good that we didn't do it right away because I've kind of changed our minds about how we want to do things exactly. So, which I guess, happens with everybody for a little bit. But so later this year, we'll probably have it completely redesigned and have the interior done. Hopefully the menu will be settled. And although we do intend to do seasonal things, it's kind of change it up as the seasons change. So,
well, you're in a good spot there on Restaurant Row.
Right. Absolutely. And there's great food. Everybody on the whole street. Yeah. You can't. There's no way to miss, right? Every place has got something unique and good.
Oh, you can't miss. Like I said, I do a breakfast once a week over at Bogey's, and man, that's always good.
I was just there Monday, I think, having breakfast.
Yeah, good stuff. What was the decision? What went into actually moving to Brookhaven Circle? Tell me about that.
Yeah, another interesting story, I guess. I had come to talk to Jonathan R., who's our leasing agent, about a place in Collierville. I wanted to talk to him about finding a place in Collierville to open so that we could do it there, and with the intent of a full restaurant, and which is the thing that has been holding us back from Collierville. And we met over at where did we meet? One of the restaurants over there. Anyway, so we it was about 4:45, and the street was packed. It was standing room only, and he said, "Well, would you be interested in having a restaurant here on Brookhaven Circle or a place on Brookhaven Circle?" I said, "Well, yeah, but there's nothing open." And he said, "Well, as a matter of fact, there is." So he told us about the fact that they were going to close down the Bangkok Alley, and so I'm looking at the street, it's packed. There's people coming in and out of everywhere. So I said, "Well, this is a good place to go." So, and I knew that we didn't have the requirements of having food, so that's kind of part of the initial. Hey, let's jump in there and start serving our beer and we'll get going. So, and of course, things have changed since
then. Get the doors open and grow it from there.
Right, absolutely. So that's how it happened. It was just happenstance. It happened to talk to him at the time that they were talking to Tara about the Bangkok Alley. So
good deal.
Yeah, good
deal. So you mentioned the Old Glory. What else is coming up next for?
So that's our biggest project. We launched it on 4th of July in draft. We're, again, like I said, waiting on our digital print for the cans. Or the cans we intend to, we're going to can, I think it's set up for the 21st of August. So we'll put out as much cans, and it's going to, we've already got people across the nation that are looking, we're going to ship it to other states. So we've got people from Georgia and Alabama, Florida to Pennsylvania to California that want the beer. So we're going to ship it out to as many places as we can once we get that rolling in August.
And I love hearing that.
It's exciting. We are really excited about it. It's a delicious beer. If you hadn't tried that, I recommend you give that a shot. It's just a good, light, crisp, perfect for the summer. I hated that we couldn't get it in the cans for the 4th of July, but it's a really good beer. And I think, like I said, it's a good message, and it's time for America to have a new beer.
For America to have a new beer or have another beer, a new beer and another beer.
That's right, another beer.
Dos más.
So, that's right. Absolutely.
So if people are looking for the retail outlet, where can they find the Hook Point?
So most of our beers are in most of the liquor stores around town. Most of the restaurants in Collierville, I would say about 50% of them have it on tap, and we're getting it in more places. We just delivered to Blue City Cafe on Beale Street. And of course, when we get the distributor on board, it's going to start to spread a little bit more. So we actually kind of shrunk our footprint a little bit when we went to the self-distribution, just so that we can reconnect with the accounts and establish our own relationship with them. So we shrunk a little bit. Now we're ready to kind of expand back out. Like I said, hopefully we'll be in Mississippi soon as well. But
I think
you can also, obviously, you can get it at Brookhaven Circle here at the Ready Room, and you can get it in Collierville on Fridays and Saturdays. Let's see, I think 11 to 4 on Fridays and 2 to 4 on Fridays and 2 to 6 on Fridays and 11 to 4 on Saturdays.
So you could pick up retail
at
the Ready Room or in Collierville if you need a 12 or a 24.
Right, and we fill growlers, the big bottles and crowlers. We do cans this size that we fill of whatever you want on tap. So it doesn't have to be one that we actually can there in the brewery.
Good deal. So how can folks find you online? Where would they look for you if they're looking?
Yeah, so good question. So we're on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram. I think we're on Twitter also. Hookpointbrewing.com is the website that we are at. You can find us there, but we're working on it. We revamped it from what it was before. So trying to add the Ready Room to it, as well as add some of the other beers that we're have on there, but primarily because we're going to be shipping out of state, so we had to rework the store and make that happen. So,
tweak it a little bit.
But it's still Hook Point Brewing Company, and Flat Hat also has its own website, flathat.com as well. So has the story behind it, and some people who did some work for us, video work and some flying and things for us on there. So
fun stuff. Anything else that you want to cover that we hadn't?
No, I mean, we're just excited that we're able to open up here on Brookhaven Circle. We really hope that we can improve the community here and build on the community. I'd like to see it grow, just like we talked about the other day. So come on out and try our food, try our beer. We're open for lunch to dinner on Wednesday through Sunday, and then on Tuesdays we open at 5, just kind of beer, snacks. No, the kitchen's not open, but you can come and have some beer and snacks.
I was going to say, I saw a Yelp review from somebody who was in town and had been to your place before. He goes, man, I loved it. I was there for Tuesday for lunch. Dang, I'm early.
Right, yeah. We hate that. Hopefully, it's just a lot of us just getting enough staff to run it. And we also have wine for people that don't drink beer, and we're going to add cocktails here real soon.
Well, and I'll say again, back to your online reviews are excellent. The beer and the food.
Right. Yeah, it's great stuff. I don't brew. I'm probably the only brewery owner that doesn't brew, but I've never brewed a beer in my life. I've drank a lot of beer, and I don't cook.
You can be the grand taste tester.
That's right. I'm not responsible for any of the good stuff, but they do a great job, and I'm really, really happy. We have a really good team.
Yeah.
And we just, everybody, it's beer, so we're supposed to have a good time. I think we all have a pretty good time and enjoy eating and drinking the products.
Good deal. Mike, thank you again for spending time with us.
Thanks for asking me.
If you have enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It will be, it's available anywhere you can find a podcast. We'll be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and any other place you can find it. So subscribe, send in your comments. We'd love to hear from you, as long as those comments are kind. The negative folks, not so much. Anyway,
We don't want to hear from them either.
thank you. We'll be back next week.
Thanks for joining us on the Brookhaven Circle. Please subscribe to our podcast and send us any questions or comments you have. The Brookhaven Circle is produced by V2 Media, a part of the business community on Brookhaven Circle.